Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and I'm back with my 1001 book countdown, and today we have a Pulitzer winner. Let's get to it. All right, so as always, if you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, I'll leave a card up here for you where you can go and check out the original video about it. But basically, it's book reviews and commentary off of books on the 1001 books you must read before you die list. What was I going to say? I don't know. Anyway, I lost my train of thought, just like went completely out my head. So it is basically book reviews off the 1001 books you must read before you die list, and I'm making some good progress, which makes me incredibly happy. So first, as last week I talked about and showed what was left on my 2021 list. I have an amendment to that, so I'm going to talk about that first, and then I'll jump into the book. The book that I had pulled and talked about was Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. I happened to see a video by Noah over at Everybody Who Reads It Must Converse about where not to start with Thomas Pynchon, and of course Gravity's Rainbow was right up there as one to not start with. So what I've decided to do is switch it out for another Pinchon novel. So the book that I picked was The Crying of Lot 49. One, because it's super short and I have actually some hope of getting this read this year, and I was able to get it at the library immediately. So I'm going to swap out this one for I'm going to swap out Gravity's Rainbow for this one. And thanks so much, Noah, for that very timely video. But I'm going to go ahead and put up my numbers, which are 972 and 18, which is of course my 2021 number, and we're going to get right into the book. So the book that I'm going to talk about today is a Pulitzer winner. It won the Pulitzer Prize, I believe, in 1975, and that is Humboldt's Gift by Saul Bellow. So this book is one of 14 main novels that look like of Saul Bellow that falls somewhere right around the middle of all of his work. This particular book follows a character whose name is Charlie Citrine, and Charlie has a friend whose name is Humboldt Fleischer, I believe is his last name, Humboldt Fleischer. Yes, von Humboldt Fleischer, who is a very famous poet, very successful poet, who unfortunately ends up dying destitute. So, but it mainly follows the character of Charlie. And Humboldt has left Charlie something upon his death, and Charlie can't quite figure out who knows what this gift is or what he has been given. And that's basically the premise of the novel, is him spending quite a bit of time trying to find what he was actually given by Humboldt. And it is kind of, that part of it is almost just a subplot of the book. The main part of the story is just following Charlie Citrine, and Charlie Citrine is kind of a mess. He has a ex-wife and two young daughters. The ex-wife likes to continue to sue him for potential of future wages because he has had some success as a writer and as a playwright, and she thinks that he could be making more than what she is currently being allotted. He has a girlfriend that is somewhat questionable, and you find out how questionable really towards the end of the novel. He has a couple of friends and business partners, we'll call them friends, who keep getting him into more and more different kinds of deals that should be really money making, and you continue to have him kind of pull down his finances and make that part of his life a mess. And so there's a wide variety of different characters. Right now, Charlie is not really working, he is not making a lot of money, and his finances are just slowly crumbling away. He goes to a poker game and loses about $450 to my favorite character in the book, which is Cannetable. I think that's how you say his name. Cannetable is, I'll put up the spelling here. I think that's how the audiobook actually said it, Cannetable, but I'm probably saying that wrong. Cannetable he is basically a caricature. God, I can't speak today. He's kind of almost that stereotypical mafioso character, and he is hilarious. He is such a problem for Charlie. He continues to get Charlie into worse and worse situations, and he is absolutely adamant that Charlie has to pay him this $450 that he owes him from this poker game, and Charlie has some advice from one of his, friends that he shouldn't pay him, and the lovely gangster of Cannetable decides that he's going to extract kind of punishment on Charlie. And it's one of the funniest scenes, like what happens to poor Charlie's car, and then Constable just keeps pulling Charlie into all these different things, and Charlie feels like he owes him some things and decides finally to pay him back, and is yeah, those scenarios are really, really, really funny. All of the interactions between him and Constable, and all of the things that Constable wants him to do, and all of the trouble he gets him in, that's part of what I really liked about the book. You don't find out what the gift is until much, much later, and Charlie doesn't even get to realize the gift without the help of this, Constable, and is just beside himself that he has to keep interacting with him. He keeps telling him to go away, and he doesn't go away. But I also listened to part of this as an audiobook at the beginning because it is a bit of a ramble. This book, that's probably kind of the negative of this book and why I ended up giving it 2.5 stars rather than anything higher. It rambles and rambles and rambles, and it's just Charlie kind of going through his daily life, and all of random thoughts in there, and some kind of trying to track down people who might know where Humboldt's gift was and what it was, and just very, very long in that. The audiobook helped immensely with this book, especially to start it, especially until you get to the point where the gangster shows up, because before that it is pretty dry and pretty long and pretty boring. So yeah, it definitely wasn't my favorite. I'm very thankful that I did it, like I said, as an audiobook. It had kind of like, because the audiobook, it had like this weird kind of almost film noir-y kind of Sam Spade accent at times, which for me, I'm always like, yeah, see here, yeah, see here, kind of in my head, which gave me 1950s kind of vibes to it, but it references things in The Godfather. So, I mean, it was actually written in 1973, and they reference things like The Godfather. So, it's not set in that time period, but I always read this and think, again, because of that audiobook, that it's set in an earlier time. It's not a detective novel, so I don't know why I keep picturing Sam Spade in my head, but that's kind of, I think, because of the narrator in the audiobook. But it was really interesting. It's not one that I would say, yes, absolutely go out and read. If you're trying to read all the Pulitzers, it's probably not a bad choice, except for be prepared for it to be a bit long, and absolutely 100% get the audiobook if you get stuck. Also, you have to get past the first couple chapters, which are really, really just dry and difficult. So, but that's Humboldt's Gift, and yeah, a Pulitzer off of my list. My quest to continue to find a Pulitzer that I love is still ongoing. The last one, or the one that I absolutely love, is of course The Confederacy of Dunces. I forgot in my September TBR to say I'm doing a reread of this month with a group of people on Voxer, and you can see I do have a bookmark in it, which means I have started it again, but I have had so much other reading that I haven't been able to really prioritize it. But yeah, my quest to continue to find a Pulitzer that I like as much as Confederacy of Dunces is still ongoing. I have high hopes for Lonesome Dove. But with Humboldt's Gift, we get to go from 972 to 971, and it is on my 2021 list, so we get to go from 18 to 17. Excellent, excellent, excellent. In addition to that, this marks the 30th book off of my list since I started my channel, which is absolutely, absolutely amazing progress. I'm also making significant reading progress this month on The Mysteries of Udolpho, and on The Name of the Rose, and on the Ballads for George Henning. All of those are moving forward, so I'm in great shape for the 1001 book countdown for the month of September. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you've read this book, if you want to read this book, but it was an interesting one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with interesting. Hopefully if you read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And as always, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, everyone, thanks, bye.